Hello and welcome to an episode of Eternal Connection on blogtalkradio.com. My name is Daniel Feint, and I will be hosting the show for the next 15 minutes. I think it's a nice size segment of time to just sort of share my thoughts, and it's not too long to for the listener to lose interest. So anyway, today we will be talking about selective thinking. And I feel that there's some things I wanted to share about that topic. Basically, I want to share my thoughts on thoughts. So I'm thinking about thinking. So as we all know, thinking can be something that can be a positive thing, and it also be a negative thing. But as you would observe a coin or a glass of water, you could say there's two sides of the same coin, or the glass is half empty or half full. So it's an entirety of thought that we have to work with, and by that we can make it a two-sided deal or a glass half empty, half full. Now this is going to be abstract and metaphorical, so just bear with me, and if it's not your cup of tea, then I'm sorry about that. So when you take notice that your thinking is linear, like one thing going to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, then that means that you're thinking it rather than observing the thoughts that are just being presented to your consciousness to interact with. Now, if we go with the show title, which is Selective Thinking, and if we're in that quiet, balanced, centered place where we can select the thinking that we want to do, and be like, that thought, nah, I don't want to select that one. I'm just going to leave it for now. Maybe it'll pop up later in my mind, or in my consciousness, or in my thoughts. But for now, I don't want to think about it. Why entertain that thought? So that's the selective thinking about that. So because if we realize that it's the present moment, which isn't even a set time of now. I mean, it's the closest thing that we can describe in the English language as to the present moment. Basically, if our thinking about worrying about the future or the past or anything like that, first we'll go into a future reference, which nobody knows the future, basically. And if we do predict the future, which is the best way to predict that is your present moment choices. But if we do try to predict the future or visualize what will happen in the future, it's only based on past events that we apply to what could possibly happen in the future, whether we saw it in a movie, whether it happened in our life and it's going to repeat again, or so basically to sort of get off that hamster cage wheel running around in circles but not going anywhere, we can quiet the mind and not necessarily try to quiet the mind, but just have a quiet mind. And like it's been said that a beautiful flower doesn't need to try to be a beautiful flower. It just is. It's just nature itself, and nature itself is beautiful. Truth is beautiful, and so are all things that are naturally occurring. So okay, so that was a good start to the show so far about selective thinking. I may be rushing through this a little bit, but hey, it happens sometimes. And So now I will pause for a commercial break, which will just basically be me continuing to talk, but about things that I have online. My website is back up and online. It's danielfink.com, so you can visit that if you so choose. And these podcasts are available on iTunes for a free download if you want to do that. Again, this is Daniel Fink. It's the Eternal Connection Show on blogtalkradio.com. Today we are talking about selective thinking, and I don't know, I have the whole show ahead of me, basically. I mean, we're only about 5-6 minutes into the show, so I'm just going to do my best to relax and just see what comes to mind as the idea of selective thinking. So yeah, I see as to reach for an optimistic or good feeling or good things happening in life type of way of going about things, then I want to select those type of thoughts. I want to have those type of thoughts. I want to feed my mind those type of thoughts. And I want to think, if I do think, which can be a productive thing or it can be a detrimental thing. It depends on what kind of thinking we're doing. It's been said that our train of thought could be a runaway train to a dead end, but we always have the choice to not necessarily view it as a runaway train, but that we can get off at the next stop and go on a train of thought that's in a better direction. So we're heading towards better things. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to try to describe about selective thinking when I'm sort of encouraging people to have a quiet mind and allow the thoughts to come to them, and then be the observer of the thoughts, but in a quiet state of, I don't know, it's sort of like a simplicity type of thing. Now, how was that described? I could go with the idea of water settling after it's been stirred up and muddy. It just naturally settles with some time. I don't know, and let's see, there was another example, but I can't think of it right now. I just think that there's an importance of having peace of mind, and being in a peaceful state of interacting with the world. Peace is a wonderful thing, and we can entertain things that are exciting and not just humdrum. I mean, it's like I don't think that the default of a centralized, I don't know if centralized is the right word. Yeah, you can tell that I haven't been doing these radio programs in a while, and I am a little bit scattered in my thinking, quote unquote. So my selective thinking is kind of scattered, trying to describe the idea of selective thinking, which maybe I'm just taking on more than I can handle in trying to explain this. It's sort of like the more words I try to use to explain something, the further away I get from it. It's almost like trying to, if fire was a truth that I'm trying to point towards, and I'm getting closer and closer with ice, I don't know. Somebody help. Okay, so we've run into some technical difficulties, I guess, or some mental difficulties, because I don't think it's possible to describe something that's indescribable. I don't think that words can do what I'm trying to point towards justice. So I feel that I still have a good 3 or 4 minutes of recording, so I'm just going to go with the flow and just see what happens. Anyway, I hope everybody out there is doing well. I'm doing good here, having a good day, hence the inspiration to attempt to record another radio program and broadcast it tonight. I think that Dan, don't think. Okay, I'm not thinking. Wait, huh? All right. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. And as I go through life, I want to just try to have a quiet mind, to be in tune with what's going on, to know have the wisdom to know what the best thing to do is, to interact with the world I live in. I want to just, I don't know, I was watching one of the Back to the Future movies, and it just made me think of what is possible for one person to make a change in the space-time continuum and to affect other people's lives. But I do believe that there's a path of truth, and there's a path of power, and there's a path of love, but both lead to the same. And you can't have the true path of power without following the true path of love, and vice versa. So if you travel the path of love, then you will inherit that type of power that can be used for good in the world. Anyway, it's my typical abstract type of thinking these days. And if you like the type of recordings I'm doing right now, if you're a very patient person, then tune in. Subscribe to the podcast so you know the next time I record, because it's not on a regular basis. But if you want to find out more about my work, again, I have the website up. It's danielfink.com, and that lists all other places on the web that I have my stuff as well. So I hope you're doing really well. Whatever your theories or metaphors that you have for the way of thinking or philosophical observation, this has been a show on selective thinking. It's the best term I could come up with that was short and as to the point as possible. So whatever kind of thoughts I selected, hopefully they were entertaining and thought-provoking. And I wish you all a great day, or night, or morning, and take really good care. Thanks for listening to the show. All right, bye-bye.